Hey everyone, welcome to More Than Meets These Guys. This is the recordings of two American Transformers fans going through the UK books from the beginning. We'll look at all aspects of the UK comics from cover to cover and deep dive into some aspects that many of us have taken for granted. Boo and I have known each other for over 25 years and have crazy amounts of useless knowledge to share. So, welcome and may you be inundated with useless knowledge. Boo, good to see you, man.
Howdy.
Hi.
Hi
Um,
there.
so
First time caller, long time listener.
oh, oh my. Ooh, I got the vapors. Oh yeah, man. So we're on to Marvel UK issue number 25. In the beginning of this already, there is a fantastic this cover is one of those covers I've seen a lot, over the years. Where like Shockwave's holding Megatron is blasting him.
Oh yeah, that's a classic cover there.
Yeah, this is such a departure from the Sunbow show where the Sunbow show had Shockwave being very subservient. This is almost the Shockwave if people watch Transformers Prime or Cyberverse or anything else, or I mean Earthspark too. Um, Shockwave he's powerful, he is logical, and he's all for the Decepticon cause. So that's right there. Spoiler alert, this is going to get bad for Megatron.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be hurting after this one.
Yeah, a lot. His ego as well as physical traits.
Yeah, and this was a cover done by Alan Cooperberg.
Mm, our boy Cooperberg.
Yes.
So first of all, we get into the transformations, and they have the Kellogg's model airliner. This is kind of neat. This is a really a nice throwback to growing up, the kind of cereal prizes we would get.
Right. This is a cereal box prize, but it's on your comic. You didn't have to like dig through the bottom of the cereal to get to the toy. It's right on the cover.
The
And this is another example of how like UK comics fans really just got a lot out of their comic. Like
oh, totally.
they give them toys all the time in giveaways. At this time, they actually strapped a toy to the front of the comic. Like,
I mean, if you want to get someone to buy a comic, this is the way you do it. Here,
well,
have
I
a
wonder though how hard it was to like stack the comics with the sprawl on the front because that had to like throw off the stack, and then how hard it was to like put them on the newsstand or wherever they were.
You think about it nowadays, every time you get a comic from a comic shop, let's say you have a subscription or whatever, they usually, put a backing board in a bag with it. And this had to be a nightmare.
Yeah,
But
you had to have like the extra baggy, like the really thick vinyl ones, like they'd use for like the Conan comics.
yeah,
Yeah,
double bag it.
yeah,
But man, so also return the fact files. That's kind of nice, which we'll get to that. Um, so I want to like kind of start off this with give a little explanation of what we're doing. Because Boo and I will ramble for an hour and a half if you let us, which you're obviously all letting us because we do it anyways.
you can't
We're
stop us. No,
we're going to split this. I've had a Patreon the entire time. The link is on the show notes, so if you're generous, if you want to hang or whatever, um, you please by all means join the Patreon. It'd be great. It helps keep this um these old guys flush with stuff that's not breaking. But we're gonna go and split the comics. So we're just going to do the Transformer stuff for the main feed. And we're gonna do all the other stuff, which is like Planetary, Robocapers, the oh God, what am I forgetting?
Machine Man.
Machine Man. My favorite Machine Man. But that is a whole thing to get to when we get to it, because I read the explanation. By the way, everyone, Machine Man ends in this current incarnation and goes into a futuristic incarnation from the world, sorry, the time of 2020. So we're way
The
in the
far,
future,
far
obviously.
future. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll get to that though. But I want to let you know. So I know a lot of people are like, God, more Machine Man or Planetary or Robocapers or whatever.
Matt and the Cat.
Matt the cat. Oh God, I forgot the name of the
Chromobots.
cat.
Well, and then we'll have upcoming stuff like Combat Colin and stuff,
Yeah, yeah. So
and that'll be all bonus footage, bonus content.
if you want to hear these two old guys ramble on about stuff that people forgot about, um, by all
Traumatically
means,
repressed.
yes. I was thinking forgot about repression. I mean, in the aspect of psychoanalysts, repression is forgetting, and forgetting is repression. So we'll go and we'll call it that. We just forgot. But if you want to hear us ramble on about stupid, silly things, please join the Patreon. I'm gonna upload this as an exclusive to the Patreon. And if you don't want to, cool. If you do want to, I'll be your best friend. But we'll get there when we get there. For right
And the
now,
comedy gets better, I think, in the bonus material.
yes, the disdain from me gets stronger.
It turns from, old fans reminiscing to like riff tracks.
It really does. God, I'm thinking about the scene from Airplane. I can't remember the line before them. It's like, and Terry's getting larger. That's kind of how I feel about the other stuff in the comic. It's just non sequitur, weird, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I can cuss on the Patreon too.
Yeah.
It's not YouTube. Oh, I
So
get to take the
bonus material with, I guess, mature label on it. It's like Marvel
yeah.
Max.
Ultimate. I guess. Yeah. This is like
It's more like the manga Punisher, where it's like the Japanese girl that spanks the Yakuza for being naughty.
I'm just thinking the All-Star Batman. Did you ever read that?
Long time ago, little
Oh,
bits here and there. Nothing like regularly.
the GD Batman. I'll we can get into that later. But because I'm trying to keep this family friendly. But so referencing that, we'll get back on track here. The planetary comes to an end, and the current Machine Man does as well, as I read from my copious notes from earlier. So if you want to get into that, cool. We'll get into that on the Patreon feed. But we're on the sound waves. So the cool thing about this is there's an American kid visiting his grandmother in Wigan. I have no idea where Wigan is. Any
Yeah, I'd
clue?
have to look that up.
Yeah. I've seen the name before, but yeah, there's the editors all like, oh, any other American fans out there? Dude, if I were getting like Transformers every month, I
It's
would.
between Manchester and Liverpool.
Okay, I think it's Northern England or London, England. Jesus, London's a city. I think it's northern area of England. So okay, well, cool. So
Yeah, it's northern.
yeah,
Near,
uh,
yeah, Blackpool. Also says, yeah,
don't be
Leeds.
racist.
So, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
unlike a lot of the letters we get a lot of letters that are like from the suburbs of London and stuff. This
Hmm.
one's pretty far north.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have let me pull my comic over here. I'm trying to like see what I may have anything else that was in the letters. I did notice that someone wants to trade a jump starter for Bumblebee and Wind Charger both.
Hmm.
I mean, size wise, that's not really a terrible idea, but the jump starters are so sad.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a lopsided deal there.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I had Top Spin when I was younger. I loved it,
back
but I mean,
then maybe it wasn't so much because he's a larger figure and he has a weapon.
yeah,
But nowadays, if you went on eBay and you're like pricing, top spin versus Bumblebee and Wind Charger, like
this
vintage,
guy, this
yeah,
guy's amazing.
that guy.
Yeah, that's it's so you can find an army of top spins, and people actually do. They collect little armies of the jump starters and like trade other parts so they're more homogeneous
Hmm.
and like paint them up and stuff. So yeah,
Now going back to the sound waves though,
yeah.
the Wigan. Uh, I was looking up some stuff, and it's almost spelled exactly like Sir Wigand from a Decepticon Raider in King Arthur's Court. It just has a D added to it. So I
Huh.
wonder if that, like Sir Wigand of Blackthorn.
I mean,
So I
Blackpool.
wonder if that's connected at all, like etymolo etymologically. Yeah, not
Yes.
entomologically, because then he'd be full of bugs. But
The study of words, yes.
yeah, so something that I thought was cool about Jason's letter, the guy
Hmm.
from America, is he didn't like Machine Man, he didn't like Matt the Cat, he didn't like Chromobots, and he didn't like Planetary. So I I believe this guy is on record as being the first recorded American Transformers purist.
Well, I actually don't blame him.
Yeah. And then we've got Stuart Taylor has been getting the US
Hmm.
issues along with the UK issues. And he likes to dangle his spoilery forbidden knowledge in front of all the other fans in his letter. Like he doesn't spoil anything, but he said, I know what's happening in the future story. So
Yeah, I love that. He's all about like, yeah, so I've you know, I haven't been, is it the one who hasn't been collecting it a long time? It's from, no, it's a different letter. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Um,
His is in the starts at the bottom of the first column and goes to the top of the middle column.
yeah. I was thinking about the two letters from here, but it's funny because they're like the editors are a little, I don't know, it's almost like they're disappointed with what they're moderately pleased with issue number 22, but they
Moderately.
still think there's room for improvement. So yeah, I don't doubt that. I'm all for that because there is definitely room for improvement. So yeah, so we have Christopher Chung. He has a disagreement with his classmate Brian McFarlane.
Oh yeah.
So he says that Ravage is a jaguar, and Brian McFarlane, you know who you are, Brian, thinks that Ravage is a black dog. Look,
That
I
is
don't
an
know.
old argument. That's how old this argument is. Since 1985, and kids are arguing about it in the letters column.
Man, look, Firub. Yes, Firub.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
But
all kinds of things in the old, parts of the fandom that people I still see like legitimate people trying to write like blogs or articles about, Transformers and calling Ravage a dog.
mhm.
I
They
mean,
still
maybe
do it. Yeah.
yeah, maybe a Doberman, the
I
worst.
think that's what it is. He looked like a Doberman. And when I
Yeah.
first saw it, I thought Ravage was a dog from the commercial. So I mean, I can't fault him there, but it says in like the toy catalogs
Hmm.
what he is. And his original microchange name was Jaguar.
Yeah,
So
I mean that alone should tell you. But then
yeah.
again, we weren't exactly seeing the micro change, and we weren't seeing the Japanese stuff. But yeah, everyone out there in the listener land, if you don't know, Ravage is a jaguar.
Even when they made him in Vinyl Tech, they had him turned into a Jaguar. I thought that was very
That was
clever.
actually really nice. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got him somewhere. Wait, which version?
There was two, and there one was like a Corvette, wasn't it, or
One was a
something like
black
that?
Corvette, and the one was a Jaguar. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got both of
Which
them
I thought
somewhere.
that was like the best thing when it's like, yeah, he's got to be a Jaguar. Come on now.
He's yeah, they
Oh,
do
and
great.
the issue 22 thing was a joke by Soundwave because Soundwave's answering these, and he was moderately pleased with the issue 22 cover because that's the Transformers Are All Dead cover with Shockwave.
Oh, that's right.
So Soundwave's throwing some shade on Shockwave, like, I don't want to give him too much credit. Like maybe if it was Soundwave, it'd have been a better cover. But
It reminds me of the line from Transformers One. It's everyone who has the wave in their name. Yeah,
right, so maybe it's a little sibling rivalry.
it could be. Um, yeah, there's a who is it? It's Sean Keefe talking about he just got his Transformers Summer Special. He's only getting it from issue number 19, and I'm thinking like, man, look, there's so much stuff going on before you get to issue number 19. I mean,
Hmm.
all the UK stuff that you're just not seeing. So he's
Yeah,
like,
so he had to catch up with the summer special.
Yeah, which is cool, man. Whatever, you know. But he's super into the book. He's, you know, said falling off my chair with joy and enthusiasm over the new look. Um, so yeah, honestly, the book has a whole new look, like we've been talking about, like the last few issues,
Hmm.
which would be number 22. Yeah. Um, I like the graphics, like sound waves graphic at the top. All these things are really cool. They're really nice, and it really helps to separate the book and make it its own. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they got into some fancy graphic design up there at the top, and
yeah, they did.
this wasn't just like they couldn't just throw this together in Photoshop. This was all done by hand back then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and then cut out and pasted together. So I mean, this is some excellent work.
Photoshop, this print shop, man.
Right?
Back when God, I
Oh
had my
yeah.
old Windows compatible computer when I was a kid, around 85, 86. Yeah,
Oh
that was print shop.
yeah. Oh,
Run off a disk.
desktop publishing.
No
Yeah.
hard drives, kids. None.
Yeah.
We didn't have
Yeah,
hard
you had
drives.
your T squares and your X-Acto knives and your
It
glue
was
sticks.
run off DOS.
Oh, you're talking about that still the computer stuff. I'm talking about like the old school
Oh
stuff
yeah.
with the razor blades cutting out the lettering and stuff. It's like you had to have a steady hand and eye.
Which I have neither. Um,
Yeah.
so
You kids today got it too easy with all the digital AI graphics fonts.
you kids and your AI.
Get out my yard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway,
But yeah, so there
I'm really liking Hiroko's short here.
I was just reading that again.
Yeah, he called them out for that ad where they got all the seekers' names wrong.
Yep.
Wasn't that the one with the scary kid in it again?
That
Just,
gets every
I
freaking
know,
ad.
I'm losing count. I just see him in my nightmares now. That's
He, he he's an homunculus. He just exists to
he
get things
is.
wrong in ads.
It
He's
turns out
not
nobody
real.
else can see him on the page. It's just us. It's like the
It's
Phantom Kid.
it's like the movie oh God, was it They Live? Where
Oh
you,
yeah, you gotta have the glasses on to see it.
yeah, see if we put on on the right glasses, we would see through it, but because we're just like looking at the page, it's, you know, we don't see the like, consume, obey. It's all, yeah, it's all detrimental, and we're gonna definitely fall into that Reagan era capitalistic trap.
Yeah,
Buy
and
them
that
all.
kid's gonna get us, dude. He's gonna get us.
Well, he's not a kid, he's an alien.
Right.
You know he is. Okay.
Turns out he's us. Like,
We were the alien all along.
right. That's the real twist there. Some M. Night Shyamalan for you.
So, the fact file is a section called interface. And it's kind of nice because we get a fact file all its own same page, and you get a Autobot and a Decepticon.
And they're using the line art from, I guess, the instructions
It looks like it almost, yeah.
and I guess, the instructions and I guess, the line art for the box art.
Yeah, because Warpath is really he's like he's leaning back. He's like back.
He's
So
doing the limbo.
he is. And Ramjet is the thing about Ramjet's box art is, you know how all the jets had their different kind of missiles, and once you get past the original trio, it changes a bit. Like Dirge has almost like just plastic black guns on
Yeah,
his
solid
arms,
guns.
and Ramjet has these bombs.
Oh yeah, it's the big old like Joe Dirt biohazard bombs on his
Yeah, and on the picture, and I remember this in line art. It's one of the things that always bothered me because honestly, when they were doing this, they probably had an idea what they looked like. So there's a missile, a bomb, sitting on one of the wings. Shouldn't be there, and the other
I
one's on
think
this other arm.
I think they did that just because if they had that giant bomb hanging off his arm, it would take the image like really far right, like farther than the wing. So they did that to keep it compact but still show.
I don't know. I think also because it would look really phallic
Oh, well, it looks phallic anyway. I mean,
coming off his arm, like phallus. So yeah, But
I don't know. Is a reservoir tip joke family friendly? I don't know, but that's the term that pops in my mind when I see that.
not if you're Catholic.
Yeah.
So
I guess in the end, it isn't family friendly on many levels.
if you like having a small family, it is. So but
You like
the
collecting toys and having money for it's
dude, yeah, yeah. Okay.
anyway.
So yeah, but also the fact that they have so many other characters they could feature, but they have Warpath and Ramjet. It must have been because the toys are coming out.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get ahead of the game because they were kind of falling behind and still stuck in like all the characters that came out in '84
Yeah,
that they weren't able to feature these guys that are, on the shelves now. And
stuck
then,
in 1984.
well, and at the pace they're going with these comics, is these guys aren't going to show up in the comics for a
Mm-mm.
while. So
Oh yeah,
this is maybe this is a Hasbro mandate. Like, hey, can you get some of the stuff that's on the shelves in the comics, please?
probably so.
Yeah.
I feel like they've had a change in the guard at the UK book, and they're more, I guess, they're talking more with Hasbro and trying to get it more cohesive. I don't know.
This is
It's just
how
my
you keep
impression.
Hasbro happy and then still have the independence to write your own stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which um, if y'all are listening to this, go back and listen to the interview with Simon Furman. They um, they were really able to go off on their own, which I almost feel like the American comics weren't as able to. And
Oh
the
yeah, Bob Budiansky has said that that's the one thing that really tied his hands is that Hasbro would mandate to the U.S. side, "Hey, you need these characters in this issue,
yeah,
and don't worry about those other guys because we're selling these guys now."
and as Simon Furman said in his our interview with him, he was like he looked for the characters that Hasbro and the American books just didn't use. That's why he had a lot of
Yeah.
these really cool tertiary characters becoming like really important, like the Wreckers. The Wreckers were a lot of tertiary characters that just weren't featured in the American books.
Some of the
So
guys didn't even really get featured in the cartoon either. Like
not at all,
Broadside, only had a few appearances, and Sandstorm had a few appearances, and Jumpstarters weren't shown at all.
at all.
Yeah.
As you brought to my attention, I was having a I was having a Facebook argument with someone where the jump starters actually had cartoon models, but they never used them in the cartoon.
They didn't even use them in the commercials. Like they just
No.
these comics are like the only place you'll see.
Yeah, 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 and that's it's neat, but it's one of those things that just I don't know. I feel like they just kind of swept under the rug in a way.
I mean, they even had Transformers Universe entries,
Yeah, they
and
did, which
yeah,
using animation models.
yeah. And here, speaking of which, there's a difference between this fact file on Warpath and the Transformers Universe entry.
Hmm.
In the fact file, it says his movements in both forms are severely hindered if his treads are damaged, which is basically treating it as if he doesn't have legs, he rolls around on his treads in either form. Okay,
Hmm.
that isn't in the U.S. profile from the Transformers
Okay,
universe. It just mentions that he has problems basically in tank form if his treads are damaged.
which
And
they did in the Sumbo cartoon. Whenever he gets knocked over on his off his
oh
treads.
yeah, he gets upended all the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, he still has feet though. His treads and the front end of the tank turn into feet. And in the model shown in the Transformers Universe US,
Hmm.
he has separate feet, like you see in the Sunbow model.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, that's true.
But this one, because it's used in the toy box art, it treats him basically like he's a Dalek or something, or he's one of the Reavers from X-Men that have like the,
Yeah.
the tank for legs. And then
Yeah.
going through Ramjet's profile, it talks about, how he's built for head damage and stuff like that, but he still gets internal injuries from crashing too much and all that. And I just put in my notes here that Ramjet is the Cybertronian version of Mick Foley.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
God, I never really thought about that. Yeah, yeah, that actually all checks out. So, Anyways, back to the issue. We're finally back to the Transformers story. And the Ratchet's just hanging out outside the arcade. I wonder why Buster's taking so long. Dude, Buster went in there, attached electrodes to his head, passed out from the shock, and he's waking up finally. Ratchet's out there going like, "Oh, I wonder if he's okay." So, you know, we're dealing with that, and also they see Shockwave fly into the cave that he has, and and Ratchet has a realization that Shockwave is actually alive. I didn't realize all this time. I didn't really think about it. They didn't realize that Shockwave was alive because they're going to get into it in a later issue coming up soon. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
we're with the Dinobot showing up, but yeah, Shockwave just kind of showed up and like did a whole shock and awe thing with the Decepticons. Well, actually, in the Autobots when they claimed victory. So
Well,
yeah, it's
that and this was there's an error here, so get ready for your no prize. He says that basically Shockwave should still be on Cybertron, or last I
mhm.
heard he was on Cybertron, but that's not true. When they sent out the probe that freed Shockwave,
Yep,
Ratchet is the one that found the data bank that told about Shockwave and the Dinobots in the Savage Land.
that's right. I do remember that.
So this is a goof in dialogue that basically he should know that he was in Antarctica last they heard,
The Savage Lands. Here's your no prize. Good job.
right?
Yeah, actually, that's true. And imagine if Shockwave just had stayed in the Savage Lands. And considering that there's probably plenty. Obviously, there's probably green crystals down there in Antarctica. There's probably plentiful energy.
Oh yeah,
Because
he
if
would have
he,
teamed up with Sauron down there.
This, Sauron, not Sauron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sauron, the guy that refuses to cure cancer. He wants to make people into dinosaurs,
Well, dinosaurs are cool, man.
right? But yeah, if it was IDW Shockwave, he wouldn't have been stuck in rocks. He just would have been down there stacking energon cubes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Like
like, oh wait, you guys are awake now? Finally, I'm rich.
now I'll say this that this version of Shockwave is very ruthless and relentless, but also every other version of Shockwave has been like brutal comparatively.
Right. I mean, the Sunbow Shockwave is really the anomaly where he's the
Yeah.
loyal guy that, kowtows to Megatron.
He waits for that Skype call over 4 million years.
Yeah.
Megatron, my lord. Yeah, this is more like what we see with Shockwave typically. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
that it's not like the usurping the throne like Starscream does. It's just that he knows he's better.
Yeah, he as long as Megatron's doing a good job, Shockwave won't intervene.
Yeah.
But if Megatron screws up big time and shows that he's unfit to lead, he just
Mhm.
like jumps right in there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
It's almost like he is looking for any kind of weakness, like
yeah.
sensing a weakness, and that's where he wants to jump in there and make it right.
Well, and he's all about the cause. He's not even looking for his own glory or
Oh
anything.
yeah,
He's trying to basically do what's best for the Decepticons.
and that's actually what I wrote in my notes is like he's a Decepticon that's all about the cause and furthering the cause, not about ego. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so if you're messing up the cause, you're out.
which is a lot of the reason why I think we have the Sunbow Soundwave and the Marvel Comics Soundwave are somewhat similar, but I think in the Marvel Comics Soundwave is even more for the cause. All the Wave guys are all about the cause.
Well, and Soundwave is a little more sadistic in the comics.
Oh yeah,
Like he's meaner.
yeah. He's if you look at his tech spec, everyone, I challenge you to go look up the tech spec of Soundwave. He's sadistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
He's
he's
not a
all
nice fella.
no. He was the ultimate spook.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I was gonna say. He's like, those scary like 60s CIA operatives.
oh, 100%.
He was George Bush Sr.
H. W. Bush.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so Shockwave is in there just telling Megatron that he will need a Megatron operational to help defend their and prepare the new base. He's Shockwave is getting ready to move everyone out to the oil platform, and he says that he has Soundwave, Skyward, Rumble, and Frenzy repairing it now. Which put a pin in that. I this is just bonkers to me. So, but Megatron continues to plan on Shockwave's. I know it's demise. Around my house we say demise, and he snaps out of the wire harness, holding up of the wall.
He ripped out his catheter. He's ready to
He
go.
did. He's he's like the patient and all his. He's like Rick in The Walking Dead. He's like pulling off sensors and pulling his catheter out. And he's like he's dehydrated. He's not really at his best, but he's gonna do what he can to get out of there.
He's the bride from Kill Bill wiggling his toe.
Oh, he is. You're right.
Yeah. And he's like, just
Wheel
wiggle your
your
big toe.
little
Good enough.
toe.
Let's just go.
And trying to avoid Buck.
Yeah.
Um in his wagon. So yeah, Buster wakes up and comes to not knowing what happened to him. It's
He's
like
got the biggest Energon hangover ever.
he really does. He's like, "Oh, what happened?" He like groggily wanders out to the out of the ark and the sea ratchet. And I've been
We've
there,
all
man.
been there. We wander straight
Yeah.
to an ambulance because, we
Oh
partied way too
God,
hard.
these kids nowadays, man. So I live in I live in a college town, and there are people who will go around. Well, I say people. There are people who have basically a van with IV fluids. Will go around. You can order IV fluids for the morning after a party, and
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
put that IV right in your arm, and you'll be good to go because I don't recover like I used to, and I didn't ever recover really great, but it's a lot worse now. Trust me, this morning, trust me, it was bad.
Oh, yeah. I've stopped entirely. I'm like, I'm done waking up. I wake up like feeling like crap anyway. So, I don't
Well, it's
need
because
to
you're old.
boost it. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, my liver just says no.
No more fire water for you, sir.
Right? Mm. Can't hang no more.
No. I don't hang. I socially consume around the house because I don't want to go out anywhere. The people
Yeah.
out there
Well,
are bad. I don't want to do that stuff.
you know me, I'm all about that life. Not going out.
Yep. Out there, there's problems. Um, so yeah, he gradually runs out to Ratchet and tells him what happened to the Autobots. It's like, well, look, dude, it's real bad. Optimus Prime is being tortured and the Autobots are all dead.
Right? I mean, he's just like the bearer of bad news on everything. Yeah, he's captured and he didn't even say they look dead. They're
Oh, they're
offline. No, they're
dead. They're
dead.
done. Dunzo. All
It's
the
just you,
Autobots.
man.
A Shockwave, he put it on a poster and it's in his break room and they're all dead.
He could go back to Sparkplug and say, Dad, there's good news and bad news. I didn't have to give my goodbyes to the Autobot.
I got this thing in my head though, but otherwise we're good. You know
Yeah,
what?
and we're getting into that more in the future too. But that is like basically the lead in for Revenge of the Fallen.
Kind of is.
Yeah, that was the inspiration for a big chunk of that movie.
God, it really was.
Hmm.
Huh. I never really put that together. Good call. So,
It's what I do.
back in the arc, Megatron confronts Shockwave. He's like, Shockwave, you are to relinquish leadership of the Decepticons or something along
Yeah,
those
you're
lines.
relieved of
You
command.
relieve the command. And he shoots Shockwave out of the volcano across town.
This volcano has so many holes in it, man.
It's a terrible volcano.
Yeah,
But yeah, he shoots him into he ends up coming down on a high school in Valmont.
yeah. I looked it
Valmont,
up. I couldn't find a Valmont, Oregon anywhere.
I did the same thing. There's no Valmont, Oregon. It's apparently in the valley.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a
Portland,
valley mountain, Valmont.
yes,
So,
exactly. Just give me an idea. It's in the Willamette Valley. That would be probably Willamette Valley between the Cascades and the oh gosh, the coastal range. So yeah, all that area, like Portland's in the valley, a lot of those bigger cities in Oregon are in the valley. So yeah, this essentially is like generic Oregon Valley town.
Valmont was there in 1985, but it was buried in the Lahar, in
No.
that volcanic mudslide that's like
Yeah.
boiling. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
why we can't find Valmont anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was because of this fight.
Because
Everybody moved out
they're like,
because
nah,
they knew they
dude.
wrecked this town.
Yeah,
And
Shockwave just starts beating Megatron down, shoots him, beats him down. And basically, he's like, "Hey, look, man, you're not a full fighting strength, and even when you were, I was better than you. So just stay down."
oh yeah, and that was a correction from the US comics because they misattributed that word bubble.
That's right. You
Yeah.
pointed that out. They gave that to Megatron. It was actually supposed to go to Shockwave.
And I always thought that was weird because he says you're not at full strength. When Megatron said it, was like, no, dude, you're the one that's not at full strength.
Yeah.
And they actually fixed the tail off the word bubble to point at Shockwave in the UK version.
Yep.
And then
So,
when Megatron was coming through,
mhm.
and you know how Ed loves the signs on the buildings and stuff,
Yeah.
he steps over a shop good building. It's like a grocery store or something named Shop Good, and he smushes somebody's car, and it looks like maybe the shopping cart return because there's people just running away from his foot with shopping carts and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the way the lettering is done, I guess, with the inking. It looks
Hmm.
like it was written by AI because it says
Yeah.
shop good, but it looks like it's SHO8GQQQ.
I saw the same thing. I was like, I should look at that closer later, and I just never did.
Oh, you know, I did. I
Yeah, of course
gotta
you did.
dive in there.
So yeah, the that whole thing was just like almost like I'm trying to think of a like a comparison as far as like a beatdown. It was a pretty brutal beatdown, and dude, Shockwave pulls up the Valmont water tower I'm trying to think of American Gladiator, but the baton battle thing that
Oh yeah, the
pulls
the,
it
the
up.
giant Q-tips.
Yeah, smacks Megatron with it, and
Well,
he knows enough to say like, "Hey, Megatron, you're still wounded. This is gonna hurt."
yeah, and it was actually Megatron's punch. He punched the thing, and that's what dumped
Yeah,
the water all over him.
and then he's shorted out because he's got open wounds.
Yeah, he's got open
Shockwave.
wounds, and all his Radio Shack stuff isn't repaired yet. So,
Shockwave is like, "Look, man, it's your fault. If you actually let yourself get repaired all the way, you wouldn't have a problem with this. But here we are. I'm gonna have to teach you a lesson."
and I really had, I guess, shades of Triple Takeover
Mhm.
here with the fight inside the football stadium.
I could see that.
I
Oh, with the
mean,
water
they
and everything.
wrecked the
Yeah.
visitors' scoreboard and
Yeah.
everything. So, yeah, I just had little flashbacks to that watching them fight in here, even though this story came first.
That's such a fun episode.
Yeah. It's
Check
hard
out
not to
our
think of Triple Takeover.
yeah, check out our episode of Triple Takeover. Um, so yeah, he just transforms into space gun mode and buries Megatron in a hole.
Oh yeah, he blasts a crater for him.
Yeah. And then he pulls him up and like Megatron's like, don't do this to me. Don't, spare me
The
the
humiliation.
humiliation of it. And
Yeah.
then was where we cut off the first part of this issue for Transformers, in which we get introduced to a lot of other tertiary stories that'll be in the bonus.
Well,
But
it cut off before he even blasted him. Like he just transformed, and then it's like, oh, never mind, you're reading Machine Man now.
oh, that's right. I put the gap in the wrong place. But the calendar shot of this month is Ratchet riding on his power sled.
In the Savage Land.
This
So
happens, yeah,
this is a future teaser. This scene doesn't show up until UK Transformers 27.
which you can really tell because of the way that he's animated.
Hmm.
He or animated way he's drawn is very much like more like the UK style. It's less. I think it's less Sunbow. It almost looks like an Action Master.
Yeah.
So you can definitely
Well,
tell.
and that scene in the original US comic, I guess number 7, was
Mhm.
it 7 or 8? 7. No, it was 8. Yeah. That's the Dinobots issue.
Hmm.
Uh, was really well illustrated. Like
Yeah,
7 and 8 had really great illustrations.
I can't
So
wait.
yeah.
'Cause, look, let's say this also. I give it's almost like a running joke that I give Yamtov a lot of crap for the coloring. The coloring with Buster when he wakes up in in the arc and like by Optimus Prime is actually pretty good. I think a lot of that was attributed to the fact that whoever did the shading with the line art did a really good job of the shading.
Well, and
And
he was able to take more time with this one. You can tell because he even did like the red bloodshot eyes
yes, he
in that.
did.
So Yamtov can do really well when he has the time to do it. And I think
Yeah.
the majority of, our complaints are just due to the timetables they were giving him.
And he had a lot of stuff he was working on at the same time.
Yeah.
The fact
Eh,
that this is also a newsprint, you had limited color palette for the use with the newsprint. But I mean, yeah, it looked pretty good. I
He was
will
like Marvel's go-to guy when they had a deadline to meet. They would go to Yamtov because he would get it done before the deadline. So, and
he,
in print, that's everything.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so we go back to Shockwave, after he buries Megatron in the hole and basically pulls him up and Megatron's like, please, just end my, have mercy on me. Don't let me be seen this way.
Yeah. Megatron's mercy is to ask for death.
Yeah.
He'd rather die than be humiliated in front of everyone.
Hmm. And really, this is I almost feel, yeah, maybe way off in this. I almost feel like this is Megatron's, touch of when he started to go a little crazy. Because spoiler for the books, Megatron's not sane.
Yeah.
And
There's times later where Galvatron seems more sane than Megatron.
oh yeah, Galvatron's actually in the comic is a pretty good leader overall. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
Shockwave. Shockwave is like, no bottom line, no waste. We're gonna do this in the most effective way possible. But Galvatron actually in the comic was a much better leader than he was in the show. And the show is I love the show.
Well, Galvatron didn't even need an army behind him. He was just so
Mm,
OP that he was the one-man army,
he
you
was
know. But
better
he
than
would
Six
hold
Shot.
his mind, his I guess he had a calculating mind to him more so than Megatron did.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was doing the wheels within a wheel plan,
Mhm.
really
Which
working things out. Yeah.
Which, considering how later the UK comic got very convoluted with a lot of the all the stories they're bringing in with time travel and stuff, they really needed someone like Galvatron there.
Well, and you'll see like later when Furman is writing Galvatron, the madness from Galvatron isn't like in Sumbo comics cartoons. It was from his plasma accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the comic, it's the seed of Megatron where the insanity comes from. It's
Yep.
Megatron's fault that he's crazy, that he has his little bouts of like berserker rage.
Like like Machine Man.
Right.
Join the Patreon to find out more.
Yeah.
Um,
But oh, and here's something else I would like to point out because I know there's
yeah.
there's a lot of smack talk about Shockwave in Transformers One with his outbursts.
Yeah.
Because Shockwave, oh, he's not emotional, he's all logical. If you look here, he yells at Megatron.
Yeah. He's not logical here. He is shaming Megatron. That's not a
Well,
logic thing to do.
there's a logic behind it though. He'll
Mm,
express emotion when it's logical to do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
to
makes
get the
sense.
point across. Sometimes you got to yell at your kids. We don't like to do it, but sometimes you just gotta.
I'm a good dad. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm a terrible father.
God, the few times I yelled at my son growing up, he melted down, and I felt like the worst person in the world. So I can't yell.
Well,
Um,
like I don't yell out of anger. I yell. It's like the principal blowing the whistle to get everybody quiet in the auditorium.
yeah,
I do it as flair.
yeah. Do you have 32 pieces of flair on you?
Yes,
I
I have
will.
I have 180 decibels of flair.
But yeah, Shockwave is the cold and logical leader. He tells Megatron he's more valuable to the Decepticon cause alive rather than dead for now.
We're still selling your toy. We can't kill you yet.
I like
Marvel
that
said
name
no. Hasbro said no.
for now. But he carries Megatron back to the Ark, and Buster sees it with Ratchet, and Ratchet's like, That's not good, no matter what. I don't care who's in charge, Shockwave or Megatron, they're both bad."
Oh yeah, and Megatron's already, plotting against him like, "Oh, I'll get you for this,
Yeah,
for letting me live, you jerk."
you shouldn't have let me live.
Yeah, because then he puts him on display in front of all the Decepticons,
That is the most emasculating part of the entire exchange, though.
and then makes him say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, he makes him, he's an example out of Megatron that threatens anyone else who will oppose him. But okay, this is like my pen from earlier. Of note, there is Soundwave, Miscolored Skywarp, Ravage, Laserbeak, and Soundwave. They're supposed to be working on the oil platforms. They're all hanging on the Ark.
He called him back in for this. He's like, "No, no, everybody got to look at
Come
this."
on, Avery. Come on. We got to do it. I did notice it was Skywarp looking at the triangles as you've told me to look for.
See, it's funny the little details that you,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw it and I'm like, I wonder, and I thought about it. I'm like, okay, Thundercracker has little circles. Skywarp has the triangles. Yeah, I was trying to like think of like all the differentiating parts of them. So yeah, wait, Thundercracker does have the little circles, right?
I don't think so. Let me see.
What does a Starscream have?
Uh, Starscream has circles.
Starscream has circles.
Starscream has circles. Um, yeah, Thundercracker has triangles.
What are the upside down triangles?
So let's see, where is it? I gotta get out my toys.
Let me see if I have anything up here. I don't think so. Oh,
I've got them right here.
oh, my
And
Thundercracker doesn't have stickers on his air intakes.
see how you are? You make it harder on all of us when you don't
Ultra
put the
Elite,
stickers on.
like out of the box, man. Where the heck is my Skywarp?
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
Skywarp has circles with little like hexagonal columns.
okay,
So
it
yeah, that
probably is
is
Thundercracker.
Thundercracker. Yeah.
Man, okay, Yellow Bob got me right there. There's my Starscream. Yeah, those are circles.
Yeah.
I,
So
I
yeah,
need like
the
I need like
triangles
a
is Thundercracker. One circle at the top with I guess a hexagonal rectangle is Skywarp, and then three circles Starscream.
yeah. There's Starscream, my Ultra Elite non-stickered Thundercracker. Okay, so yes, so okay, he wasn't Miss Color Skywarp. It was actually Thundercracker. So maybe Skywarp and like some of the others are on like a union break.
Right.
Um, like they got the same union as the Constructicons. But yeah, so Shockwave demands Decepticons swear allegiance to him alone, and has Megatron do it also.
Right. Yeah, they all have to like pledge their fealty to him.
Ultimate insult to injury.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the fact that Megatron did it too.
Oh yeah,
It's like he's whispering it, I guess, because he's so weak. But yeah, that's taking him down a few notches there.
yeah. Also, all the stuff that's I don't know this sadism by Shockwave. I think to me, reading in context, I think it's really where you get a lot of the craziness from Megatron later. All the
Oh
stuff really
yeah, he
unhinges him.
broke him here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. But
Yeah,
then
because
we,
if you look at Megatron in like the mini series, he was calculating. He was a tough guy. He was
mhm,
your stereotypical bad guy, but he
yeah,
wasn't crazy.
no,
Yeah, it's after this you start getting like he gets starts getting a little weird on you.
yeah, you beat up someone enough, no matter how evil they are, and they start to lose their grip. How things go, and then we see what happens with him with the regeneration one later on.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's a whole other like path of craziness there.
that is some Negan level crazy. I don't know. It's even beyond him.
In fact, Shockwave's beatdown was so bad on Megatron that Ratchet switched sides. Yeah,
Ouch.
there's a drawing error at the very end
Hmm.
where Ratchet has a Decepticon symbol on him instead of an Autobot. So
He's got the red color one, though, so it's colored like an Autobot symbol, but it's in the Decepticon
just
symbol.
in context of the panels before that, it looks like Ratchet swore the fealty also.
Like, you can have my bow and my hammer.
And my laser
Um,
scalpel.
my laser scalpel. And to go ahead and go toward the end of the comic, because like I said, we're gonna, have another episode that is all the other stuff in the issue. We end with the Time Warrior, the elusive, super expensive, ridiculous Time Warrior.
Oh yeah, we get that ad again.
At least the kid's not there.
Oh
So
yeah, well, that's always good. Yeah, only one robot point for this too. I mean, they got such a good deal on this watch.
they really did.
I
Then
wonder if
again,
there's more of these in the UK than there are in the US, because
we got a really good deal on the Omnibots.
right? But it's like trying to find duck's teeth to get a hold of this thing in working order.
Yeah, duck's teeth. Oh yeah. Anyways, so that is the issue number 25 of the Transformers UK. Man, the line art in this is just not great still. I feel like we got really spoiled by Ridgeway and others doing line art
Hmm.
earlier.
Oh
But
yeah, well the UK artwork was really like head and shoulders above a lot of what we got in the US.
oh yeah. And honestly, if you look at if you once again, if you listen to the episode of our interview with Simon Furman, there was like a lot of they're ham and eggers, as Ed would say, coming in and doing the line art and a lot of the other stuff with this. It was almost like a bridge to other 2080 properties and other properties of the UK Marvel. So
Oh yeah, and I mean, like you'll see in the next issue that Transformers US got some good artists too. They just
oh
never
yeah.
kept them. They would come in for a couple issues and they'd be gone. But the artists for the UK side, yeah, they're coming in from Judge Dredd and stuff,
Hmm.
and they had some amazing artists
Oh
that would
yeah.
come in. Yeah,
Especially when we get more consistent with the book and when Simon Firm is writing the entire thing.
yeah.
You get
When it
some.
basically gets more stabilized.
Who did the very like almost like people wearing suits of armor? Was that Wildman?
Yeah, that was Wild. That was Andrew
Yeah.
Wildman. He even
And
said that he drew men in armor.
yeah, which honestly it worked really good for emoting.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, they look like the Action Masters. They didn't have a lot of like kibble and stuff like that, but they looked good.
yeah. Uh, he said even on his Facebook page not too long ago that he'd start out drawing like the human form and then
Hmm.
build the robot parts around them.
Which I
So
think it worked really well.
yeah, it's very classically trained figure drawing. So
Honestly, I think drawing a person is a lot harder than drawing a robot. I feel like,
it depends. Sometimes it's hard because they're so blocky.
mhm.
Like the way a human would move, especially like around the chest,
Yeah.
you can't get a transformer to do that because their chests are always like so big and blocky that you can't like it's hard like to fold their arms across their chest because they'd have to go so far out to get around them.
I almost feel like it's almost a trap having the blockiness because you want to draw the blockiness, but and when you do that, it's almost like you want to like see how they would move normally, but the sharp edges of the blockiness really inhibits that. So if you're drawing and you drawing something in action, it almost feels like it's a trap to
Well,
get so blocky.
you have to squish the polygons basically.
Leave
Like,
your PS2 graphics behind.
right. But I mean, even like in Beast Wars, you'd see how they'd handle like the hard polygons, but still kind of they had a flex to them
Yeah, they did.
because you can't move a robot that's blocky in the same way you can a
Mhm.
human.
And the beginning of that was the beginning of it was they had like clipping, but by the time the end of season one, beginning of season two, yeah, that the whole like pieces of metal working around, they moved around. So
Oh yeah.
In a way, it's almost like watching Wildman um, do his stuff,
Hmm.
but in
And you
CG.
see more of that like in the War for Cybertron trilogy too, where they play
Oh
around
yeah,
with the squishiness of the blocks that they're made out of because you just have to.
yeah. And actually, I think they handled that well with Transformers One.
Oh, totally.
You feel like it existed in real space. Like they even when they got spoiler when they got some of the characters got bigger toward as the
Hmm.
movie went on, you see them being almost like less able to move around as much. I don't know. It
The
was
the trick there's a balance
yeah
between making them look robotic and then making them move like living characters. You
yeah
know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. We all also have something on the Patreon. If you really love Planetary, if you love Machine Man,
If you want
you,
to find out what happened to Planet Terry,
it's brutal and it's dark. I'm not just saying that. It is, I didn't know,
yeah,
but we're not
I
gonna
did some deep diving into Planet Terry more than most people would want to. So
that little albino kid.
yeah,
But
because they ended here in this issue, but Planet Terry's story goes on quite a bit.
so we're not gonna spoil that, but a
No,
little
that's for the
teaser.
Patreon.
That's for the Patreon.
Yeah.
And honestly, everyone who wants to check that out, it would be a huge benefit. I mean, I have a 9 to 5 job, and this is my I tell people it's my mental it's my mental escape doing this. So that mental escape doesn't earn money. Neither
That
does
and it's a small mercy to the viewers that just want to hear the Transformers part.
oh definitely.
Yeah.
Um, which I'm not saying there are a lot of those, but there may be a lot of those. So it also won't be us rambling for almost 2 hours. That helps a lot.
Right? It's for those purists like Jason in the letters column for Sound Waves that only wants to hear about Transformers.
Jason, your wish is my command.
Right? It's like this was just a synergy. This was like this was supposed to happen right now because we got the letter.
This all comes together with the purpose.
It's like we found a message in a bottle.
God, I want to start singing that song.
Get out your
Um,
guitar, hero. I
come on, Sting, let's do this.
almost made a synchronistic joke right there, so almost.
Oh, he almost did it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, God, this feels so much better. I had to change the camera so I don't feel like I'm so boxed in with the wall behind me here.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah, it's definitely more open behind you.
And as you pointed out earlier, like make sure they can see all the rare stuff you have behind you. Like
Right? I mean, was that
this is
Guy
just what
Atlas back there behind you?
yeah, yeah, actually
Yeah.
both versions, the Legends version and the original version and the little
Fancy
road
pants.
fire.
Yeah.
Sonic Bomber's back there somewhere.
Yeah, you
My
got
road
like Maximal RC back there from BotCon, what,
oh yeah.
2001?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Complete Roadbuster.
Just a little thing here and there I like to do. I surround myself with my plastic crack and it makes me happy. So anyways,
Is that Taco Tank dangling over your head?
yes it is actually. You see the legs? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it looks like you got spit curls dangling over your head.
No, no, just a water squirting octopus tentacle Japanese stuff.
Tank.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
so
no. What could go wrong there? We need a Titan class Taco Tank. We
do
really.
we? Do we
Yes,
really?
yes, we do. They're
That's,
running out of Titans to do. They need to just do Taco Tank. Just
man, imagine that diver would be the size of like, I don't know, he'd be a pretty like good deluxe or mega
yeah,
size.
he'd be a good deluxe to go with them. I mean, it's all right there. I mean,
In the bike, his little
or you
bike.
mean Ikado?
Was that again?
Yeah, Ikado, Ickard, some call him.
Ickard, yeah.
Yeah, Diver was the frog.
That's right. That diver's a frog. Yeah, Ickard.
Yeah,
That's what I called him. God.
it's all right. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time. That's a good 20 years.
It's before you and I met that came out. That toy came out.
Though, don't worry though, my heart will go on.
Right?
All right, I'll take it easy. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Morethanmeetstheseguys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.